I've written at least one poem that several people who are good at poetry envy. So I fulfilled my life dream in the sense that I wanted to measure up when it came to at least one accomplishment in poetry to what I aspired to, which is to achieve something to me as meaningful as the Raven. Nobody would credit that I succeeded in accomplishing anything quite like the Raven. But when I read Hypotenuse from cover to cover, one of my poetry booklets, I did feel that I was keeping company with Edgar Allan Poe. All of which should seem fitting to someone who understands how young it was when I took it on, 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. I resolved to try. Now, when I came home from the Pennsylvania Governor's School for the Arts, an angry person who didn't get the scholarship called me a charlatan and set to work explaining why. I can corroborate some of what you said. There was certainly some truth to the fact that I was searching for inspiration that I regarded as authentic. And nothing more. I spoke to the Raven. He said, "How do you do? How do you go about writing poetry?" Carefully, I explained that I often wait until something feels so right that it means something to me that I just want to preserve. It's a very limited, elementary, even kindergarten thing to say, I only want to indulge what I consider to be my specialty when I feel inspired by some authentic move in my mind. Well, there's a lot of rivalries that go on, and it gets a little bit aggressive when people start saying, we want to change what's in your mind to suit our call for service from poets. I can't really abide that, although I've been beaten down to complying on occasions. And there's also the challenge of what a professor who agreed with this student said to me, when are you going to care enough about your skills to develop them? So you see, even in my finest achievements, I find myself validating the claim that I don't care enough about my skills to develop them. In the sense that to develop craft, to develop all of the various hobbies and methods of a professional poet takes a great deal of practice, concentration, and work that I apply to many other things: housekeeping, academic reading, historical studies, my frightening testimony about frightening experiences, subjects in school, math. One could say that my deficiencies in math after all, I have brain injuries, I'm deaf, are similar to my deficiencies in poetry. And I've heard such ideas about my writing often enough and long enough that I would have to agree there's some truth to all of that. Do I stand by the meaningfulness of my poetry? Anyone's entitled to read it, it's all online. Do I get celebrated or published? A little, on occasions. Why do I do something like that, which has so low in rewards? Well, there are some very good reasons, but I think the main reason is that it has certain benefits. The magic word for me is appreciation. What I've learned and come to understand and been able to appreciate that I might have overlooked because of my readings of Hart Crane, Robert Frost, Balakian, Dylan Thomas, Poe, are things that have given my soul a certain shape that I recognize as a harmonic vessel that contains my dreams and anxieties, my love, my conquering of an inordinate burden through reflexive gestures of simplicity. My deaf friend, a girl, a woman, who only understands her vein of pigeon song, did a great deal to inspire my academic success by teaching me sign language, but her keen intuition about sign language is what made that possible. It's a keen intuition that has some simplicity similar to my ideas about achievement in poetry. She's very simple, attractive, reflexive, gestural artist. She turns the simplest ideas into visual beauty. And of course, I've always been fond of graceful, talented figure skaters. So naturally, even though no one had ever thought to, I took Jeannie to the Nutcracker Suite. And she so loved seeing the children dance. I wish I could have hidden my tears from her during the more famous musical passages. She was born deaf. But she said to me once, being deaf is better. And I think for her, it's absolutely true. It's as meaningful as saying being a poet is better than being a musician or painting. For me, no matter how much talent I might have in the other fields, for me, poetry is better. For her, being deaf is better. Her sign language is closer to her heart, and the point she makes from her heart comes from the poetry in the music of her gestural language. These are profound issues to people whose lives are very simple. It's not for nothing that I am indebted to Jeannie. She not only got me through school, she laughed, said what a lie when people told her things that were getting around about me. And I had no capacity to stop. She just said, "What a lie." She knew Pittsburgh. She'd grown up there. They weren't nice to her about her help for me. Be that as it may, she's a terrific person, and very few people, even in that foul place, could bring themselves to hold it against it that she helped me, which for them was in all innocence. Pittsburgh has never been able to explain why they tortured me. They have summoned cosmic ideas, something that they always claim to abhor, always claim to have targeted the cosmic gem, the cosmic kid. And yet, when it comes to explanations, you can't get more far out than the ones they provide. It's a burden of truth. And to some extent, poetry is an escape from that burden of truth, a burden of pain, a burden of sorrow. But sometimes, when I'm reminded of where it comes from, the Jewish Holocaust community, they said after Auschwitz, no more poetry. I guess they were trying to say if there's going to be poetry after Auschwitz, it's going to have to come from the likes of Cosmic Jim. Well, Jeannie is a beautiful person. She's been hurt too. I can't speak for everyone, and I don't profess to. Most people think it's a lot better to be able to hear music. I miss Jeannie. I don't really miss music.